Hey, all, welcome to my channel. If you saw my last video, it's just a continuation of it basically because I just finished watching the Texans Indianapolis game basically. And of course, as you saw, or if you didn't see, the Texans have won, so they've clinched. They clinched a playoff berth. Of course, Miami's in, Cleveland is in, of course, which we saw, and Kansas City and Baltimore Ravens. The fact is the Baltimore Ravens, having lost to the Steelers, though for the Ravens, they've already got the first round seed. So, I mean, the number one seed anyway, so it won't matter for them. Now it's a matter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, where the only way the Steelers get into the playoffs, of course, after their win is either one, the Jags lose, the Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars, or the Bills lose. One of those two, well, if the Bills lose, or if Jacksonville loses or ties. Now, the chances of Jacksonville tying, highly unlikely against, Tennessee. Can they lose to them? I doubt it, considering that Tennessee is 5-11. Tennessee's got nothing going for them. They might as well, lose out to get the, top 5 pick. The Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. In this situation with the Dolphins, the only thing is like for them, they've already clinched. It's just a matter of playoff seedings. It all depends because the fact is they're in, but they don't have the AFC East. If the Bills were to beat the Miami Dolphins, the Bills clinch the East and then get in the playoffs as well too. Now this is the real surprise. The fact that if you saw my earlier videos last year in December, I thought the Bills were pretty much out. I mean, I had to say it had to be some miracle basically for them. They would have to win outright. The way they were losing, the way they were barely winning, I didn't think they were going to make it, but they did. It's kind of a surprise. I'd love to see how this goes out. I'll have to talk more about it later on after Sunday's games. This is being, of course, recorded on Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Now, as far as the NFC is concerned, well, the Atlanta Falcons, of course, they clinch the South if they beat the New Orleans Saints. Now, if the Saints lose, well, wait, if the Falcons win and the Buccaneers lose, then Atlanta basically pretty much clinches the South. Now, if the Buccaneers win and Falcons win, the Buccaneers clinch the South, which, from my perspective, everyone was always saying is like, oh, Baker Mayfield, like he's lost. I thought he can redeem himself, and I thought the Giants should have traded for him as if they could have gotten him, because I would have preferred him over Daniel Jones. And yes, I'm going to hate on Daniel Jones until he proves me wrong, and I hope he does. But in this situation, he has not proven me wrong. He's basically not worth the $160 million that the Giants offered him, and makes no sense. No sense. I think it's because of the fact that it was misleading because the way Dable was able to extract everything out of him. But in reality, he's not that good. And I think the Giants have seen it, and now they realize the mistake that they've made. So the question is like, what do they do? Saquon Barkley is not going to be a Giant. I think he wants to be a Giant, but they're not going to be able to sign him. He's probably going to go to another team. If I'm him, I sign with the Kansas City Chiefs, or I sign with the Kansas City Chiefs for next year, or maybe the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, or even the Packers for that. I think the Packers make more sense for him basically because honestly, you got the tradition and you got Love doing really well. I think he'd really do really well with the Green Bay Packers. Now, of course, the Cowboys clinch the East if the Cowboys win, and if the Eagles lose or tie. Packers are in the playoff if the Packers win. They pretty much have their destiny in their hand. Win and they're in. Or of course, if Seattle and the Saints lose, or the Vikings lose, the Buccaneers lose, and the Seahawks lose. Anyways, now the Vikings come in is if not only do the Vikings have to win, but they have to, the Packers have to lose, as well as the Seahawks have to lose, as well as the Buccaneers have to lose. That scenario happening, very unlikely. Now the Saints go in if they win against the Falcons, and the Buccaneers lose or tie. Now, the question is like the Saints possibly could beat the Atlanta Falcons. It's a strong possibility depending on how Carr comes out. There's another possibility where you know what Tampa Bay wins. If Tampa Bay wins, pretty much the Saints and Atlanta don't make it in at that point. Seattle Seahawks, of course, they win if the Packers lose and the Seahawks win. But unfortunately, destiny is not entirely in their hand. Same thing with the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, they have the fate in their hand. They're in and they get clinched the South if they win. But outside of that, yeah, I should have a whole screen of all this stuff. But in reality, I think everyone's seeing everything. My prediction is what's going to happen is basically this: the Bills are pretty much going to beat the Dolphins. I think they're going to go all out. The Jags are going to win as well too. So Pittsburgh's not going to get in, unfortunately. The Jaguars are winning for sure. The Bills most likely going to win. I think Allen's going to go all out. Miami, I mean they want to clinch the East, but you know what? I don't think they're going to worry too much about it. Texans of course win. They're in, but now if they need the Jags lose, the Houston's win the title, South title. The Jacksonville Jaguars win, they clinch the South title. Dolphins win the East if they win or tie. Now the question that it's going to come down to is the Falcons, the Cowboys versus Washington. Of course, the Cowboys are going to win. The only thing is, I don't think the Eagles are going to lose. So I think that the Cowboys are going to pretty much have the East. They're going to clinch the East. That's a given. The question is, can the Packers win against the Chicago Bears? Honestly, that's going to be a little tricky because Chicago has a shot to get into the playoffs if the Green Bay Packers lose, as well as Seattle loses, as well as the Saints lose. If the Packers lose, Seattle loses, and the Saints lose, and I think if the Vikings lose as well too. No, the Packers lose and the Vikings lose, as well as the Seahawks. Actually, if the Packers, Vikings, Seattle. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me start this over again. The beer is kicking in, basically, unfortunately, but yeah. If the Packers lose, the Bears get into the playoffs. If the Packers lose to the Bears, the Seahawks lose, the Saints lose, and the Vikings lose. Now, the Vikings losing to the Detroit Lions, strongly possible there. Packers losing to Chicago Bears, strongly possible there too, if the Bears play all out. New Orleans losing out to Atlanta, it's a little tough one, but it's possible. Now, the Seahawks losing, that's a little bit tricky. I don't see the Seahawks losing to Arizona. So, Seahawks will most likely clinch the playoff spot at that point as well too. But in any case, it'll be interesting to see. This is a little bit more interesting now, this year around compared to last year, where a lot of these scenarios are coming to play now. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know your comments in the comment section. I know my predictions might be off, whatever it may be, but I'd love to hear your comments, also your feedback. And if you like my content, like my videos, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you like the video, please like it. I'm not going to say smash the like button, but you can smash it. Smash the like button or smash the thumbs down button. It's up to you. I'm not going to give you a choice. I'll give you that choice. Not going to ask for it. But I do ask for the subscription. I didn't make a resolution this year to... last year I made a resolution for one thing, but in any case, forget the resolutions part. I'll do that with the live. I'm going to do it later. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Again, always unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.